Hello everyone, my name is David and today I'm recording this video. Let's get started. Analogy is like finding a spider in your bedroom and exploding a nuclear bomb. Sure, the spider is upsetting and now dead, but also your neighbors and your dog. It will be allergic to incredibly diverse and weird amount of stuffs: pollen, dust, insect stings, animal hair, any kind of food, latex, and even your own sweat. One of the wildest thing about allergies is about how fast they are, breaking out suddenly and violently. You can develop new allergies. One moment you're enjoying a shellfish you ate thousands of times before, the next moment you wake up in an ambulance. A shrimp can kill you. How bizarre. But what are allergies? Why do our bodies flip the table on harmless stuff? What's a wild and interesting idea we want to share about you? Humans may have created allergies by accident, by getting rid of worms. This is upsetting and interesting. For our ancestor, getting infected with a worm is a reality of life. We don't get to the disgusting detail, but in a world where drinking water and poo were out close buddies, some species of worm found it was just a perfect cycle of life. They enter your body with the water and make themselves at home, sometimes for decades. Then they release their eggs with the poo that used to go back to the water we drank. Until recently, in evolutionary terms, our ancestor has to deal with frequent permanent worm infection. This caused all kinds of unpleasant health effects. Our immune system has to find weapons to get rid of them. But how do you do that? From this perspective of smell, so worms or scales, kaiju ring behind the horizon, whereas instead of skin, parasitic worms has an elastic that withstand stomach acid. You need to pack some punch to kill a worm. We're simplifying, but basically when a worm enters your body for the first time, intelligence cells notice their presence. They move down to the lymph node and actually specialized antibody factories called B cells. Explain them. The B cells are told they need to fight parasites and start producing a special class of weapon, IgE antibodies. Tiny protein crabs with two pinches that connect to worms like magnet to metal. IgE flood their entire body and basically beginning arming a nuclear bomb. An army of really scary cells called mast cells. Mast cells are huge, bloody fellows that filled with histamines and other nasty chemicals that they pick up the IgE floating around and cover themselves like an angry hedgehog grenades without their safety pin, and they just lie and wait angrily. So now you have millions of bombs in your skin, lungs, or gut. Until the day that mast cells meets a worm trying to enter your body. There's not much time to get rid of those things escalate rapidly. The mast cells with their IgE spike grab into the worm and kind of explode. They release all their dangerous chemicals all at once. A few things now happen in the rapid succession. First, some of the mast cells wound the worm, whipping worms into them and making them really unhappy. The emergency chemical like histamines called massive inflammation, ordering your body to flush cells will flush the worm out. They also order the cells that make mucus go overdrive and cover the worm with a sticky slime. The chemicals like rate screaming out through your body for anti-parasite solars and endorphins. First of all, thousands and hundreds and thousands of them leave your blood vessels to the mast cells and causing inflammation. Not only do they make the inflammation worse, they carry extreme toxic chemicals that they vomit at the worm, ripping it open its defenseless layer and causing horrible injuries. Sometimes it will straight up kill the worm. Lastly, anti-worm coordination cell arise. The basophil makes sure that the immune system doesn't slow down, but keeps attacking with violence, keep the inflammation going. Alerts more and more attack cells to the site of battle. Zooming out, we see that chemicals from the anti-parasite forces make the smooth muscles contract rapidly, pushing everything that inside outside. In your intense combined with all the water, you notice this as diarrhea. As your body tries to expel the stress parasite, in your respiratory tract there's loads of mucus and water trying to take the worm with them. if this happens under your skin, your tissues get red hot, itchy, as your immune system is trying to commit murder. It takes a fierce army to kill a worm, and you or anti-parasite forces have the license to act rapidly with intense violence. Okay, this is nice and all, but what does this have to do with killing shrimp? What is an algae? Parasite worms don't love to be ripped apart by millions of bombs, as well as living things do. They adapt to deadly attacks on them. In a nutshell, worm releases a pheromone of chemicals that manipulate your immune system and make it weaker and much less angry, like immune system bleed, which is pretty bad for your survival because you have to fight up all sorts of intruder every day. Our ancestors are basically unable to prevent regular worm infections, so as the worm adapt to us, our bodies have to adapt to them. To balance out any weakling, the one adaptation meant to make our immune system more aggressive so it could still defend against invaders. And then a hot second ago in evolution it shows everything changed. Suddenly we invented soap and hygiene and the separation of poop and drinking water. This destroyed the cycles of parasitic worms and were once remained were eradicated from Ansel. Worm cells infected 2 billion people in undeveloped and rural regions or slums or unnecessary condition of dirty water. People who escape this condition now face an interesting problem. The immune system, seeing around a major enemy, have kept it out for millions of years. It could be very well that our immune system is still operating, assuming that worms are making it weaker, and it has to be only aggressive because of that. While IgE mast cells, basophils, and eosinophils has other jobs, major reason for the existence have now gone away. But they kind of act if worms are still around. Now they attack other dangerous foes like shrimp. This is exactly what happens when you have an allergic reaction to a shrimp. Your immune system picks up the shrimp proteins and produces IgE antibodies against shrimps. Then the antibodies are mast cells turning them into bombs. Now you have millions of bombs in your skin, your lungs, and your gut. With a license to use violence when they provoked a little bit, until one day you eat another shrimp. Your anti-parasite forces flip on like a switch. There's no kaiju to attack. When this happens, what you experience was allergic reaction. Extremely powerful weapons now target your own body. Until under skin, the blood vessels suddenly leaky. Fluid system streams and your skin swells up, turns red, often in itchy hives. You immediately feel hot and unwell. Your digestive system mast cells and cause nausea, cramps, and sharp pain, and water floods into your intestines, triggers intense diarrhea and vomiting. Your respiratory tract smells up, making breathing hard, way more dangerously. Histamine and other chemicals make your smooth muscles in your lungs to turn up. In the best case, you get a stuffy nose. In the worst case, you're suddenly fighting for your life. Mast cells over your body upload their bomb all at once, causing emphatic shock. Your blood loses so much water that blood pressure stops to a dangerous level. This alone is life-threatening. In combination, the things that are going on in your lungs, a lymphosis is a life and death emergency, often in a small time window to do about it. Allergic reactions truly are no joke. Even the deadliest disease like Ebola need days to kill you, but your immune system can kill you within a minute. And this is why a shrimp can kill you. Because on fundamental level, an indigenous system, bio species for survival millions is fighting imaginary chemists. Yet we don't know why some people produce a lot of IgE antibodies against certain subjects and others don't. We don't know why some adults develop new allergies later in life or why allergies disappear over time. We're not sure if the lack of worms is the main culprit that only cells evolve to fight them, but are responsible for symptoms of allergies. There are other ideas, less diverse microbes or increased pollution. Maybe it's a combination of all of them. So what we clearly see that allergies and more serious cousin autoimmune disease has been rising massively in the last 100 years. While humans move into sanitary conditions and get rid from the horrible parasites haunting us. Hopefully we don't figure out and prevent allergies forever, because one thing is for sure, we don't want to get worms back. That would really like finding a spider in your womb. in a room and exploding a nuclear bomb. So that's the end of the video. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.